Your brain can process around 400 words per minute, and yet the average person only speaks at a rate of about 125 words per minute. That massive gap, that void between the speed of thought and the speed of speech is exactly where conversations go to die. You know that feeling, right? That awkward silence that stretches on for an eternity? The fear of not knowing what to say next. That is the #1 enemy of maintaining a conversation. But don't worry. In the next 15 minutes, I will arm you with 7 psychological weapons, 7 secrets that will allow you not just to survive, but to master any conversation, helping you confidently maintain a conversation with anyone in any situation for over 30 minutes. And make sure you watch until the end because the 7th secret is the secret of master communicators. 1. The echo technique. This is the foundation of everything. It's deceptively simple but incredibly powerful. I once attended a networking event and was talking to a marketing director. He was telling me about a new campaign, but I was so anxious about what to say next that my mind went blank. When he paused, all I could say was, "Oh, that's cool." The conversation died right after that. I was physically there, but I wasn't really listening. Here's the specific actionable tip for you. Repeat the last 3 words they just said with a curious upward inflection, like a question. If they say, "I had a great time hiking this weekend," you simply ask back, "Hiking this weekend?" Why does it work? It's like conversational sonar. By echoing their words, you send a powerful signal. I'm listening. I'm here with you. Please continue. It buys you time to think while encouraging them to elaborate with almost zero effort from you. The contrast? Wrong. Just saying, "Yeah, okay." It's passive and kills the energy. Right, echoing a piece of their sentence with genuine curiosity. 2. The 5W1H detective. If the echo is how you start, this is how you start extending the conversation. My biggest mistake when I was younger was turning conversations into interrogations. Do you like movies? Yes. Do you like to travel? Yes. They were all closed questions, all dead-end streets. The actionable tip? Always carry the mindset of a friendly detective using open-ended questions. These are questions that start with who, what, when, where, why, and how. Instead of asking, "Do you like your job?" ask, "What's the most interesting part about your job?" Why does it work? A closed question only requires a yes or no, but an open-ended question is like handing them a microphone and a stage. You're inviting them to tell a story, to share a perspective, not just to answer a query. The contrast? Wrong. Did you have a fun trip? A closed question. Right. What was the most memorable experience from your trip? An open question that invites a story. 3. The thread weaver. Good communicators don't just skim the surface. They dig deeper. I was once talking to someone who had just returned from Japan. After he told me, I immediately said, "Awesome. Speaking of travel, I just went to..." and launched into my own story. I missed a goldmine of a story because I was too focused on myself. The actionable tip, when someone mentions an interesting detail, pause there. Don't rush to change the subject. Dig into that specific detail. If they say, "I visited Kyoto," ask, "What was it about Kyoto that impressed you the most compared to what you expected?" Why does it work? It shows that you're not just hearing words, you're noticing the little sparks in their story. You're like a miner who, instead of looking for another mine, realizes they're standing on gold and decides to dig right there. This makes the other person feel incredibly valued. The contrast? Wrong. Hearing a cool detail and immediately relating it back to your own story. Right. Putting your story on hold. Explore theirs first. If these ideas are starting to connect with you and you can see yourself using them, then take 1 second to hit that like button. It tells YouTube this video is helpful, and it's also a huge motivation for me. 4. The emotional mirror. This is the core of the art of listening. People don't just communicate with information, they communicate with feelings. A friend of mine was once telling me how stressed he was about a project. My immediate reaction was, "Don't worry, you should do this and this." I offered solutions, but I completely ignored his feelings. The actionable tip? Instead of responding to the facts of the story, respond to the emotion behind it. Use phrases like, "It sounds like that was really stressful for you," or "You must have felt so proud when you accomplished that." because feeling emotionally understood is one of the deepest human needs. When you mirror their emotions, you're saying, I don't just hear your story, I feel your story. This is the fastest way to build trust and deep connection. The contrast? Wrong. Hearing a problem and immediately jumping into solution mode. Right. Acknowledging and naming their emotion before doing anything else. 6. The thread weaver. This is the technique that separates a good listener from a phenomenal one. How many times have you been talking to someone only to realize they've completely forgotten something you told them 5 minutes ago? It makes you feel invisible. The actionable tip: connect a detail they mentioned at the beginning of the conversation to a point you're discussing now. For example, this reminds me of what you said earlier about teaching yourself guitar. It seems like you're incredibly persistent when you set your mind to it. It works because it proves you're not just listening, you're synthesizing and connecting ideas. You're actively building a conversational tapestry with them. This is the highest form of compliment you can pay to a speaker. The contrast? Every response is a new, disconnected topic, right? Tying ideas together, creating a conversation with depth and continuity. 7. Offer a personal puzzle piece. A conversation is a two-way street. The classic mistake is to turn the conversation into an interview where you only ask questions, or worse, to turn it into your own personal monologue. The actionable tip? After they've shared something, share a small, concise, and related personal experience, not to hijack the conversation, but to say, you're not alone, I get it. If they talk about a difficult trip, you could say, that reminds me of this one time I got lost in, and tell a 30-second story. It works because vulnerability creates connection. When you share a small piece of your own imperfection or experience, you give them permission to be themselves. It's an invitation that says, I've shown you a piece of me, now it's safe for you to show me a piece of you. The contrast? Wrong. Hijacking their story to tell a longer, better story about yourself. Right. Sharing a small, related anecdote to build empathy, then quickly turning the spotlight back to them. So, what's your action plan? 7 steps to master the art of maintaining a conversation. 1. The echo technique. 2. The 5W1H detective. 3. The story miner. 4. The emotional mirror. 5. The cold read technique. 6. The thread weaver. 7. Offer a personal puzzle piece. My challenge to you is this. In your next long conversation, choose just 2 of these 7 secrets and focus on practicing them. Don't try to do it all at once. At first, it will feel a bit mechanical, a little weird. Good. That's the sign your brain is creating new neural pathways. That's what progress feels like. Awkward silence is no longer a period. It's just a comma, an opportunity for you to use one of these tools. Now, keeping a conversation going is within your control. Comment below, which of these 7 secrets are you most excited to try, and why? I'd love to read your thoughts. And if you want to keep breaking down other communication barriers, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Next week's video is a hot topic: how to say no without feeling guilty. Remember, break limits every day.